I have a great pleasure in welcoming the delegates and faculty from all over the world. And since we have delegates from other than India, so I introduce myself. I am Dr. T.H. Chandrasekhar, a governor, American College of India, India region. And I bring warm greetings from American College of Gastroenterology and World Gastroenterology Organization as a member scientific committee, and Dr. MGR Medical University as his honorary distinct professor. And brings invitation and greetings from our institution, Medindia Hospital and Academy. May I request all the but for the speakers and moderators, all of you please mute yourself and disappear from the screen. Okay. The first three series of international webinar saw the participation over 20,000 delegates from all over the world. That really inspired, and particularly when ACG was endorsing our webinar, and we started the fourth series of international webinar series. And we gave the catchy title, "You name the topic, the world experts are here." And it came as a news that the new Endo GE webinar series as the news. And we were very fortunate to have Professor Dr. Jonathan Lighton, the President of American College of Gastroenterology, to inaugurate our webinar series. And the third series was from April 24 to March 25. And the fourth series from April 25 to this is what now going on. And again, we were very, very lucky to have the Nobel Prize winner, Professor Dr. Barry Marshall, who is the discoverer of Helicobacter pylori, and who gave that delivered the oration on the journey of discovery of Helicobacter pylori and further. And I'm glad to tell you that really spread the news and over several thousand people from all over the world they attended and got benefited by this oration, and many people got inspired how the kind of research can lead to the Nobel Prize and other things. These webinars would not have been possible without the efforts of help from my colleagues, Dr. Gokul, Satya, Raja Yogesh, and Prasad, and Trinyana Samandam. And this fourth series, and you see the number of people who have really agreed upon the national faculty, international faculty, starting from Nagi, Dr. Sareen, Dr. Randir Sood, Dr. Mohan, Dr. Shang Joshi, Dr. Narsingan, and the international faculty, all the ACG board of ACG governors, everyone, and the national faculty. We have the who is who in gastroenterology from India, and the national faculty, and many people have volunteered, and we on invitation also we got them to moderate the session, and they agreed to be the panelist also. It's difficult to name everybody, but I will tell you that, and they were very glad to help us to give their inputs during the academic session. And starting with that, we had this time what we did is the topics which is relevant to the physician and gastroenterologist, starting with the diabetes and GI tract, systemic hypertension and portal hypertension, dyslipidemia and fat and liver was discussed, and the pharmacotherapy of obesity and endoscopic and surgical management of obesity. And subsequently, we had a great and in the doctor in law and doctor in ethics, and we had Dr. Research on research, Dr. Mohan, doctor and research grants. We had the other faculty telling us, and now today we have doctor in finance and doctor in entrepreneurship. And next two webinar will be in November and December will be research methodology. I appeal to all the stalwarts who are in our country to inform the postgraduate to attend this, how to choose a research question, choosing the most appropriate study design, how to analyze the data, manuscript writing and publication. And the January webinar will be on master health checkup in gastroenterology, how relevant it is now, and how to identify the pre-cancerous lesion in gastroenterology, screening methodology, and management. And the last one, March, is the debate on endoscopy versus surgical management. We have Dr. G.V. Rao talking and Dr. Vivek Sandip. And this February, the coming February 2026, February 2021-22, we are having the digestive endoscopy workshop, live workshop, and it has been accredited by many societies all over the world. And we are glad to invite you to participate as faculty in our webinar to give your academic inputs for the benefit of the delegates. Now it's my pleasant duty to introduce the faculty. So this is going to be the two important topics. I should tell you that here the great enthusiasm once I put it, because doctors are doers, doctors only work very hard, doctor update their skill, doctor they advance their skill, but the financial matter, sometimes equally important is not only earning, how to invest it, how to make your money grow up apart from your the technical skills and other thing also grow. That is a very important, doctor and finance. And how can a doctor is an academician, he is tied up in his own work, and the entrepreneurship only for business people, not for the medical person. That was the thing. But how a doctor from our own community, from our own field has become such a chosen entrepreneurship, we are going to discuss about this. And for that, we have two stalwarts going to speak on the subject and two eminent people. What I have done is I have chosen who are doing a simple clinic, corporate hospital, major other hospital. I'll tell you how we have chosen this faculty while I'm introducing individually. Dr. Raguraj Rathod is a pediatrician by the qualification. He is focused on adolescent medicine and is known for his financial investment and management. When I went through his biodata, I found there is an association called, consortium called WealthCon, and he's a senior guide and preceptor since 2020. So almost 6 years, he has given several lectures all over the country, and he has been well sought after the person for this doctor and finance topic. And that will be ably why I've chosen Dr. Nirmal Jeet is he is running a clinic and expanding his horizon into a kind of hospital. So what is his input also very important. He is the Honorary Secretary of ISG Punjab State Chapter. Apart from our very enthusiastic ambassador of the ACG International Webinar, he is the Chairman Chief Gastroenterologist of his own Malhi AGI Gastro City, Ludhiana, Punjab, 20 years of experience. His areas of interest is therapeutic endoscopy and fatty liver and gallbladder cancer. Maybe after the lecture, he'll be interested in finances too. And Dr. Nageshwar Reddy does not need any introduction to any audience in the world. But it is customary to introduce in the webinar like this to get inspired. He is the founder chairman, Asian Institute of Gastroenterology, the largest gastroenterology hospital in the world. He is the past president of World Endoscopy Organization. He is the master of World Gastroenterology Association and Asian Endoscopy Master Forum. He has been in the editorial board for many reputed, peer-reviewed national and international journal. There are so many awards he has got. The icing on the cake was the Rudolph B. Schindler Award, which he got it. Maybe the first, I think the first Asian to get this award. For those who are not familiar in endoscopy, Schindler is the one of the father of endoscopy. to get this award is there unless you have done something very great. It is impossible. They got the Legends of Endoscopy Award from Tokyo, again another very important award in 2025. And recently, we are also elated and delighted to our own fraternity who has got honored with the Padma Bhushan Award. Again, it is the big achievement for his humble nature and the publications he had and academic and technical skill. He is rolled in everything. I mean, rolled in one actually: technical skill, academic publications, and the entrepreneurship one. And I have another good friend of mine, Dr. Randir Sood, and he is again an eminent gastroenterologist and endoscopist, chairman of the Institute of Digestive and Hepatobiliary Sciences at Medanta, New Delhi, the Medicity, New Delhi. He is the past president of Society of GA Endoscopy of India. Master Endoscopy Award he received from SGA, International Service Award recently he received from American Society of GA Endoscopy. And he also has several publications and he is several awards to his credit. Why he is so important? He is working in a corporate hospital, and how his inputs are so important in this kind of thing. And the panelist, if you see that Arvind Gubbi, again, is running a center of gastroenterology, but he's a very, very enthusiastic entrepreneur himself. And we have chosen other two important doctors, very important in Tamil Nadu, Dr. S. Manivandan. I have interacted with him many times. He is the one who started the culture of Medicall, where he brought all industries under one roof. It was really inspiring. That was my dream sometime 20 years before. I was wondering where to go and search for the how to procure the various equipment for the hospital. He brought everything under one roof. He's the founder and managing director of Kaveri Hospital, a chain of hospital from Trichy to various parts of Tamil Nadu. Another very, very hardworking, very inspiring lady to watch is the Dr. C. Gita Haripriya. She is a gynecologist and obstetrician by qualification, and she also now started with a Prasant Hospital. Now there's a chain of hospitals she has created in Chennai, and again a very inspiring story if you listen to her, and very important. So we have so many people around us to take this webinar, and I welcome all our ambassadors. And it's very difficult to tell the names of our national and international. For want of time, I will not be able to tell all the names, but I recognize their hard work and efforts. And with this, no, the format is like that. We'll have back-to-back two lectures. Then we'll have the discussion and panel discussion questions. We'll start with the after the lecture. First moderator, second moderator, then the panelist, then 3-4 rounds we can go on. After the last 10 minutes will be for the chit-chat session to know more about our faculty. So with this, I hand over the mic to Dr. Nirmal to introduce the topic and invite the first speaker, Dr. Raghuram. Dr. Nirmal, please.
Thank you, Dr. T.S. Chandrasekhar. So I think this ACG webinar series, as all of us have attended the previous sessions, is something really fantastic. So different variety of topics which have come up, and each time we are becoming wiser by knowing about so many more new things. And this time it is about two important issues which are so rarely been discussed in the GI forums. But take my words, they are so very important as we grow in life. The first part being the finance, and the second part will be on the entrepreneurship among medical fraternity. So I think the choice of speakers, as always, has been so apt. People who have vast experience in that subject are actually asked to deliver a talk on that. And today's webinar is no different. So for today, Dr. Raghuraj Rathod, who's a member of WealthCon, a pediatrician himself from Surat, and he has delivered multiple lectures in different forums on why the finance is so important and is a wealth of knowledge on doctors and wealth. And Dr. T.S. Chandrasekhar very beautifully alluded to by saying that we all must sleep, but the money we are making actually should not sleep. So even when we're sleeping, we should be able to gather or garner some more money, which is so important. And doctors, actually, I would say, are so poor at that. So I think in today's webinar and by listening to Dr. Raghuraj Rathod, we are going to get some important tips, which will be of good help to all of us in whatever stage of our professional career we are. So with these words, I must invite Dr. Raghuraj Rathod for his presentation. Dr. Raghuraj.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. First of all, I would like to okay, sir, is my PPT visible?
Raghu is
Yes,
nicely
it's visible.
nothing. Good.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank ACG and Chandrasekhar sir for providing me this opportunity and Nirmaljit sir for introducing me. First of all, today's our topic is doctor and finance. Do we really need to know it? Okay, so let's see. First of all, WealthCon, it is an educational platform. It is for the doctors, by the doctors, and of the doctors. It does not provide any financial advisory services or sell any financial products. And we recommend to do our own research before any financial decision. Speakers are doctor and they are not SEBI registered NS agents or investment advisors. So few instructions: keep your self mute, no photo or recording of session, and kindly write notes so that you can later on see it. And so why we need it? To learn systemic way of managing our own money, to begin our journey of financial education, to become self-reliant in making financial decision, and to begin journey of investing and wealth creation. Some of the don'ts, like we are not providing any investment advice, no tips trading on stocks or mutual fund, no intraday trading, no satta, or no get rich schemes. Why we need it? I will tell you one example. Just few days back, I read the newspaper news that one of professor of our college, BJMC Ahmedabad, who has retired just recently, she was scammed by one Telegram group where she was added, and then she was lured into adding money into some other app where they were giving extraordinary returns like 50-60% return per day, and she was duped by almost 1.2 cr. So we need to know finance so that we should not get duped by such entities. So this is a journey, investing journey, where we will learn to reach at the top of financial freedom. So when we say about investing, what to do, first we should know what not to do. In what not to do, first of all, first is never outsource your financial decision to someone else. Never invest in unregulated and fancy products. Never invest on tips, intraday, stop loss trading, or SATA trading. And the most important is never expect more than 30% annual return on any investment. This is very important because one person who is claiming that you can get 50-60% return, always remember that that will be they will wipe out your total capital. That will be scam only. So never expect more than 30% annual return on any investment. Never transfer fund to unknown person. No, never borrow money to invest in stock market or buy consumer goods. Never mix insurance with investment plan. We call it as ignorance policies. Never invest in MLM schemes proposed by friends, relatives. And most importantly, never hate wealthy people. Try to be wealthy and healthy both. Never stop learning. So first of all, what is money? Actually, money is a unit to measure or exchange value and mean to store and transport value. In previously ancient time, it was grains which used to for exchange of value. In medieval time, it was gold or silver coins which were used. Then come the modern time when fiat currency, note or currency, paper currency, what we are currently using. And in digital time, money is just a number on our computer. So as I said, it is just various symbols which depicts value and exchange. When we say about financial management, it is two part. One is money management and second is asset management. Money management means how we are getting our income. It can be earning, it can be loan, it can be asset selling, or we can get gifts. These are all cash inflows, whereas cash outflows are when we are making expenses, when we are making loan repayments, we are buying assets, or we are paying government taxes. All these comes under money management. Whereas in asset management, there are two categories. One is physical assets, which we can see and feel, like gold or real estate, whereas financial assets, equity, and debt. When we talk about financial management, then we have three life stages. First is less than 30 year, which is mostly of education. And as we know that doctors, when we do our post graduations, at least we start earning after 30 years. So this is first stage of education. Second stage, we call it M to M, own marriage to marriage of our children. That is 30 to 60 years. And that is a period of wealth creation where our main focus should be on creating wealth. Whereas the third stage is more than 60 years, where wealth protection becomes more important in our retirement life. So when we say this about financial planning, then first of all, we should be knowing that what are different headings, how we can calculate it. We all know that we are filing IT returns, and IT returns are filed at the end of the year, whereas we are focusing on financial planning, which should be starting before the year starts. Like last financial year was April 1st April 2024 to 31st March 2025. But when we are talking about financial planning, then we are focusing on the future for the year ahead. So first of all should be gross collections. Gross collections can be from salary, professional income, business income, asset, or other incomes. All this combined will make gross collection. So we will think that at the year end, how much gross collection will be there. Out of that, what tax I will be paying to government, what will be my business expenses, or it can be EMI expenses, and what remains is your take home money. This is very much important because this is the part which we can spend. Okay, so if it is 100 rupees, then we can divide it into four parts. One is past spending, like we have already done taken loan for our home, and now we are repaying back to bank. So that is past spending. Second is present spending, what will be doing in current time. Third will be investing. Investing means future spending. We are saving and investing so that in future we can spend that money. And fourth is unplanned and discretionary spending. That should also be 25%. So these four quadrants are very important, and we should plan first that. When we talk about financial planning, then it can be again depending on time horizon. They can be current year, less than 1 year. Second is midterm financial goals, 1 to 7 years. And more than 7 years is long-term financial goals. Current goals can be simple, like going on vacation at the end of 1 year, or it can be buying a car. Midterm financial goals can be setting up our own hospital, or it can be buying property or buying a home down payment, like that. Whereas long-term financial goals are more than 7 years, like education of our child, marriage of our child, or third is child R, that is retirement. When we talk about saving for our future, saving for children's, then we talk that I have two children and I am saving for first child education, second child education. Then always remember, you should invest for your third child, that is your retirement planning. If you are planning well, then at the end of your retirement time, you will be financially independent and you will not be dependent on any other person. Okay, so for this, we should be having three bank accounts. One is general bank account, where there will be all collection of our income, whether it is salary or professional income. Our EMIs will be going from that. Tax, insurance, or any unplanned expenses will go from that account only. The other two accounts are investing, which are planned, and personal spending, which are again planned. Like I will buy car, or I will buy bike, or I will buy any electronic items. That should be personal spending. So whenever we are getting salary, our first goal should be transfer amount 25% of your income to investing bank account and start investing. So when we talk about personal finance, these are six pillars of personal finance. That is loan, insurance, taxation, spending, investing, and asset management. When we talk about personal finance, that is different from company finance, because company is perpetual. Even after we check out, company will exist and it will move on. But on personal finance, our finance ends when our life also ends. So personal finance is different from company finance. So when we talk about loans, then on left side we see that there is ancient time slavery system. So loan is a kind of modern slavery system. Here also we are not tied by chains, but we are mentally tied by banks, because we cannot shift our jobs as we want, because we have some EMIs to pay. Like I want to go early, 2 hours early, but I have to sit in OPD and watch patients because I have to pay EMIs. So in a way, we can say that loans are modern day slavery. But is it all bad? Is it so that all loans are bad? No. There are some good loans and some bad loans. Good loans are those which can create assets for ourselves, which can give us value or some return in form of rental in yields or other part of, like home loan, hospital loan, or education loan. Home loan because it gives us security, hospital and education loan because that will enable us to earn better. Whereas bad loans are those where we are not creating any value, but it is taking us our hard-earned money, like credit card or consumer loans like mobile or auto loans like that, or personal spending for vacation. All these are termed as bad loans. When we talk about loans, then there is two parts. Someone will say that I am going to take a loan, or someone is saying that I am already holding loan, what to do. So when we are taking loan, no loan is best option. If you can do directly full payment, that is best option. If that is not possible, then it should be of smallest amount for shortest duration. Try to go for lowest interest rate, which again will be determined by CIBIL score, and there should be minimum charges. For those who are already having old loans, then you can do prepayments, extra EMIs. You can use gifts from relatives to prepay your loans and reduce tenure whenever rate is reduced. like RBI has reduced almost 1% rate of CRR, so that when we go to a bank, we should try to reduce tenure rather than reducing EMI. Demystifying home loan EMIs, I have made 2 videos on that, so you can go on YouTube and check that also to know. When we talk about credit cards, there are few benefits and few rules to follow. When we are doing international payments, we need credit cards. For some bookings, we need credit card because we are getting discounts or loans access, and it improves our CIBIL score. But we have to follow some rules so that we do not get trapped into debt. So pay immediately. Don't go for minimum payment. Pay full and pay immediately. Use only if debit card or Google Pay don't work. Don't spend or don't borrow if you don't need it. Second part is insurance. After loan, insurance is most important. In insurance, there are two terms, life insurance and general insurance. Life insurance can be term insurance that company will pay only on case of our death. Second is accidental death and disability. These three are very important, and everyone should be having at least term insurance. On general insurance, that depends on health and critical illness. I think all we are doctors, so we don't go in details, but we should have a sufficient coverage on our Mediclaim. Second is car and machinery. Those having higher end machines, having AMC. Indemnity cover. This is very, very important for professionals like us. We should have a sufficient indemnity cover, and it should always be one incident per year for total sum assured rather than having 3 or 4 incidences in a year. And fire property, that is also very important. When we talk about term insurance, we will keep it very simple, just 5 sentences. It should be term insurance only. 20 times of your annual expenses with covering of loan. It should be premium paying term should be up to 70 years only, annual payment only, and from reputed companies. What we call ignorance plan is insurance come investment plans. We should never go for this time of plans, ULIP plans, or any ignorance plan. When comes the most important part, tax. When we talk about tax, in India, we have a direct tax and indirect tax. For direct tax on income is called as income tax, whereas other direct taxes are professional tax, security transaction tax, commodity transaction tax on stock market. Other is property tax, stamp duty, road tax, whereas indirect taxes are GST, excise, custom duty. One thing is sure that death and taxes are certain, and except everything you consume will be taxed. So there is no escape from tax, but we can do tax planning. Cash generation is not tax planning, but it is tax evasion. So we should avoid it. Tax planning is tax management is like increase your post-tax income, how we can use different tools to increase our post-tax income, increase your investing, pre-tax spending and post-tax spending, which expenses we can do before paying tax, that is pre-tax spending, like we have exemptions. We have exemptions like home loan interest, home loan prepayment, home loan principal amount, like PPF, Sukanya Samruddhi. All these are deductions which are allowed, then depreciation and like that. And tax saving should never be our first goal. So when we talk about deductions in salaried, there is standard deduction, NPS, EPF, rebate, and retirement benefits. In salaried class, there is hardly few things which we can get exemption. But when you are professional or having business, then you can have a different number of expenses, depreciations, interest, and set off. And when we talk about asset income, then again we will have a expenses, set off, and section 54 and 54F for our real estate terms. Whenever we do income, they come under 5 heads: capital gain, salary, professional business, house rent, and other income where it is interest, dividend, and everything counted. So whenever we do, we will first estimate our pre-tax income, how much tax will go, how much EMI, how much we should be investing, and how we are spending. So that is a different tax slip, less than 12 to 24 lakhs, more than 40 lakhs, more than 24 lakhs. And in capital gain tax, there is short-term capital gain tax, that is 12.5%, and long-term, that is 25%, 20%. When we talk about spending, then there are two types of spending. One is products of need and products of prestige. When we talk about products of need, then those things which we needed for our regular day-to-day life, like we need shelter, we need bike, we need some entertainment like TV, football, mobile, car, like that. But product of prestige are those which we use to show off, like we call it as FB or Insta test, where we say that what we are, when we post something on FB to get likes, then it is product of prestige, not product of need. Like this, these are product of prestige. That was the about spending. Now comes to asset management. What is difference between investment and dumping? When we have get extra income, which are extra surplus, then we can do two things. One is dumping and second is investment. When we are dumping surplus money on advice of agents or friends, or on fad fashions, social media, news, or ignorance plan, crypto, Ponzi schemes, or haphazard investing without thinking what is the plan of this, then it is called as dumping. Whereas investment, we have a fixed plan. We will have a certain calculation of cost, tax, liquidity, what is risk, how much I will get return. We invest in gold, real estate, equity, and debt. We get educated on that, and we are doing systemic investment. When investor put their money in particular instrument, it is called as investment. For any investment, we should focus on target, that is time horizon, whether it is long term or short term. Depending on our age, whether you are a young or you are a senior citizen, your risk appetite should be different, risk tolerance should be different. Always reward comes with risk, so that depends on age. Our goal should be fixed, whether it is wealth creation or it is wealth protection. Expertise, whether we have a minimum expertise or we have advanced expertise. And time to efforts, that can be 10 minutes a month, 10 minutes a day. Depending on our efforts, our return will be defined. So in assets, we have a financial assets like equity and debt, and physical assets, gold and real estate. We can earn from these financial assets by four ways. One is capital gain, whatever appreciation we are getting from them at time of selling, that is capital gain. Second is rent. In real estate, whenever we are renting our property, we get rent. Interest on debt products, and even in SGB, we are getting interest. And from equity, we are getting dividend. These are four means of getting return from our financial assets. So when we talk about gold, we have different options for investing in gold. First of all, and my favorite one is sovereign gold bonds. That is not now government is not issuing those gold bonds, but we can invest in previous series. Why they are best? Because they are providing 2.5% interest over and above per year, over and above gold appreciation. Second thing is on maturity, the total amount is capital tax free. So that is best available source for our investment. Another one is gold bees, gold coin, and those doing FNO, they can invest in gold future also. Most important part is jewelry is an expense and not investment. Our forefathers were very intelligent. That's why they keep on doing SIP mode, like they will invest every year on Dhanteras or Diwali and buy some amount of gold and keep that safe. And on marriage also, they will give to newlywed persons so that they will again get safety on their part. Second is real estate. On real estate, there is agricultural land, non-agricultural land, residential buildings, and commercial buildings. But there are certain problems when we talk about real estate. First is there is large ticket size. There are costs associated with it. Third and most important is liquidity. You may not be able to dispose of real estate when you are in need of money, so you can get cash crunch. And most important is disputes. When we check out from planet, dispute may arise. We already see Sanjay Kapoor disputes going on. So that happens with this kind of real estate issues. When we talk about equity, there are some category like stocks. You can directly invest in stocks. We have a defined criteria called as MPTDS when we screen good stocks and we invest in them. Second is direct mutual fund. Here we will be investing in some mutual fund, and mutual fund manager decide where they want to put in. We have a variety option like flexi cap, large cap, mid cap, small cap. Exchange traded funds are like mutual fund only, but the advantage is they are traded on secondary market, so we can invest and withdraw money at any time when market is open. And last one is derivative, that is future and options, that is for advanced category. When we talk about debt, we have again a generic products and branded products. Generic products like FD and bonds through banks, what we routinely do. Government schemes like PPF and Sukanya Samruddhi. RBI also issue bond and bills, and some companies also issue their bonds so that they can get money from market, and they are providing a higher rate compared to RBI. So we can invest directly into them also. But there we have to understand the risk, and then only we can invest. Whereas these are all generic products. When we talk about branded, then again there are exchange traded funds, debt mutual funds, pension plans, and ignorance policies. Ignorance policies best to be avoided. When we talk about investing methods, there can be passive investing, simple. We don't have to do much. That will be hardly require 5 or 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes a month. We can do a SIP and keep money in those investing account. Money will be directly get debited and investment done. Second is active investing. Here we will be doing some active investing. We will give our time and decide where to invest and how much to invest. Third is swing trading and derivative trading. These both are advanced courses done at WealthCon. When we talk about investing, what to buy, only 6 questions to answer. What to buy, why to buy, when to sell, how much to buy, and how to buy. What to buy means instrument, whether we should buy in gold, equity, or debt. Why to buy, whether we want growth of our wealth or it is protection of our wealth. When to buy, as I said, SIP and DIP. SIP means regular monthly investing, whereas DIP buying is whenever market crashes, we should be more investing in them. When to sell, this is very important. This differentiates investment from dumping. It should be based on target amount like 5 crore, 8 crore, or it should be based on years, that my child is 7 years and I will need it at time of his education, college education. That means 10 years or 20 years. How much to buy? 25, then it should be 25% of our take home money. And how to buy? Logistics like brokers and online. One thing, important thing is how to invest in which instrument like gold, equity, debt, or real estate, how much we should be investing. So anyone who is younger and just starting his journey, then his maximum investment should be in equity and real estate, like 10% gold and 10% debt and 40 equity, 40 real estate. Whereas someone in his old age, like 60 plus 65, then maximum allocation should be to debt and gold and less to real estate and equity. So what is take home message? Be self-reliant, start learning, take action, open your Demat account, start buying direct mutual fund plans, avoid ignorance plan. And if you have any ignorance plan, then better to close it. Do do tax planning rather than tax evasion. And most important is debt clearance. Dispose of your loans as early as possible. That is the first step to do. Thank you. फिर मिलेंगे.
So I think really a wonderful presentation. Thank you so very much, Dr. Saab.
Yeah.
We all, yes, TSC will, to TS Chandrasekhar, I think now your comments, we had an excellent presentation.
The next speaker, I think Nirmal, you agree with me that later part of the talk was slightly becoming little ignorant. Slowly, first part we thought we know everything about that. Then the second part we realized that we knew less only. The last 4-5 slides are very important. I think during our discussion we can dilate upon that. And before calling Nagi is ready now? So I just want to tell you that a few things I really liked it. Nagi, he said, never hate rich people. So in fact, I would tell you that be friendly with rich people. Okay. And I was worried about your third child. Suddenly you said third child. But the third child is different. What you said is what did you say third child is?
Admin child.
Yeah, that is one. I like your personal and company finance. And like that, good and bad loans are also very good. And tax savings should not be the first goal. You cannot evade tax and build up your property or anything. And I did not understand salary rebate, but I will come back to you in the question answer session. I like that word investor plus instrument is investment. So I think there are a lot of take home from you, and maybe we will be able to cover all the things during the panel discussion. Now I invite Dr. Randir Sood. Is Randir around? Dr. Randir? Dr. Randir? Yeah, I think he'll be joining now. Dr. Randir Sood? Okay. While he is joining, I may call upon Dr. Nageshwar Reddy, and I will be very keen to listen to him because he built an empire. I know him since 1982 onwards. And how to we share the Kairon blog, and how we used to be longing for a tea and gulab jamun to go out, and how studious he was and how we used the library. You see in the backdrop also he has kept the library. It symbolically says my academy, my knowledge, I think only has brought me this kind of, and he has brought this kind of wealth, I think. I think with this, I will invite Dr. Nageshwar Reddy to talk on doctors should we be an entrepreneur, or we watch doctors like Nagi seeing be happy that he's an entrepreneur. Okay, right.
So thank you, TSC. Thank you. I'll share my slides now. First of all, I think great admiration for TSC for starting this series of webinars. I think now he's become the webinar king of India, because the way these webinars are being run, so popular, so consistent, it's not so easy to do it week on every time. So he asked me to talk on a topic which is very new, which not many people have asked. Entrepreneurship is. And entrepreneurship now, actually, the problem is I actually couldn't even pronounce this entrepreneurship, what actually it was. So I went to ChatGPT to see what he actually meant. And ChatGPT, I said, okay, what is this entrepreneur? And ChatGPT said the entrepreneur is a person who initiates, organizes, operates a business venture often taking on greater than normal financial risk. Very important, greater than normal financial risk in order to do so. The ultimate goal of entrepreneur can vary, ranging from achieving financial success to realizing a personal vision or addressing a societal need. I think these are very important three terms that people should realize, that why do you want to become an entrepreneur? Maybe financial success, maybe a personal vision that you want to build an institute, or a societal need, because in that particular area, this is very important. I think these are three important, and ChatGPT has put it very, very nicely. So I thought maybe I can probably fit into this area. And I think I'm an accidental entrepreneur. I started a small practice in 1986 in a place called Medinova, 1990. And then, of course, gradually grew to build the initial AIG in Somajiguda, then AIG Gachibowli, and then now AIG Banjara Hills, a total of 1,600 beds. We probably have one of the largest hospitals in at least the gastroenterology segment now. So this probably qualifies me, I think, to be a so-called entrepreneur, but this is an accident entrepreneurship. So I didn't intentionally want to be. So what I would like to share is the knowledge of retrospective nature, not prospective, of what actually happened during my journey, and how I some lessons which I want to convey to all of you, at least those wanting to be an entrepreneur. So this is the message that I'd like to give. So when you finish your medicine, MD, DM, MCH, or whatever it is, many go into individual practice. Some go into group practice, maybe little nursing home. Some of them go and work in corporate hospitals. Very few think of starting health institutions, health or big institutions. So what is the difference between these three different groups of people? I think I want to start first with this. Many of us doctors have this middle class mentality. Unfortunately, this is different from an entrepreneurial mentality. This is the first important thing to understand, a middle class versus entrepreneurial mentality. Many business people, engineers, MBAs and all start with the entrepreneurial mentality. So what's the difference? A middle class mentality is wealth creation. You think that you're making money, so much money, this much, I put so much in the bank, I put so much thing, I invested into lands. This is all wealth, because a person who comes from middle class immediately thinks of wealth, how we should create. And all of us started that way. We started thinking of how, as doctors, we can make certain amount of comfortable income for us and for the family. Whereas an entrepreneur doesn't think of wealth. Entrepreneur thinks of valuation. How much is value? Now, what's the difference? Valuation is how much you make yourself wealth, but what other people look at you as wealth, and how much you can create valuation for people around you. So they also they also acquire certain wealth, and this valuation is a combination of wealth of the individual, wealth of surrounding people, and the image society has on this. And typical example is Mr. Narayan Murthy, who created the Infosys. He could have become a regular type of person, joined a big institution, created a lot of wealth for himself. But no, he created Infosys, which has valuation. He created wealth not only for himself, but for hundreds of people around him. And finally, an image of an institution, which I think definitely is looked upon by everybody. So this is the difference between the standard middle class mentality, what most people after medicine come out with, versus entrepreneur mentality. So the first thing to start is, if you want to become an entrepreneur, you have to your psyche is very important. You have to change your psyche. I was once asked to give a talk during a PGI course, asking what did I miss during my training. So I said I missed three things. I missed, they never taught me how to manage people, which is very important if you want to build institutions. I missed courses on entrepreneurship. I never knew what it meant, how to spell it and what. And finally, they didn't tell me how to manage money, no money or more money, how to manage. So these are the things that. So I come to this important part of the talk is, okay, entrepreneurship, TSC said, why should you be an entrepreneur and how should you be an entrepreneur? These are the two important things. As I finish my talk, you will realize that some of you have this capacity to be an entrepreneur, some do not have. So you have to clearly decide which way you want to go, because all of you cannot. They're different mentalities. So why should a doctor be an entrepreneur? This is the first important, and it's very simple to answer. First of all, I think as doctors, we are good leaders. You'll realize this as we go through. We lead a pack of team. We are good leaders, and unfortunately, we don't realize that. We don't take up leadership responsibility. Second, what happens is most of the time, this we join corporate hospitals, we join other places run by business people, and we get left behind. Sorry, this should be behind, the spelling mistake. So we get left behind. Now, when you get left behind, it's a you follow the leader. You become a follower. So we should not be followers. We should become leaders, and that's the reason why entrepreneurship is important. The third thing is if you're working for an organization or working for yourself without protection of people around you, you develop a burnout syndrome. After, say, 20, 30 years of practice, you say, okay, I'm finished. I don't want to do further. Whereas, look, now, if you have an entrepreneurship, you create something, then you're very interested. Like now, TSC has got these webinars. A lot of people following it. He's driven by this. So he won't develop a burnout syndrome. So it's very important that we develop these additional responsibilities so that we don't go out into burnout. So the why is very easy to answer, why we should become entrepreneurs. But the most difficult part is how to be an entrepreneur. So when you talk about how to be an entrepreneur, there are three important things that you have to learn. First is how to be a leader, leadership, several small points in leadership. Second is how to build a team. And you'll see all the successful entrepreneurs have built teams. They cannot become entrepreneurs by themselves. And the third most important thing is managing money. We are told in medical colleges money is a dirty thing. No, it's not. Money is very important. Have too much money, how to spend it very wisely. If you don't have money, how to make that money. So these are the three fundamental core of entrepreneurship. And let me come to first the leadership. Leadership is not an easy job. We realize that all of you are leaders in small ways. Some have nursing homes, some have practices, some run institutions. And I know that we have also in this panel two leaders who have large enterprise, the Kaveri Hospital, and then the gynecology doctor also, actually, who happens to be a friend of my wife, Carol. So we have, they are leaders, they're actually running big institutions. So they'll know that leadership is not easy. Leadership is like walking the tightrope. You have to be sometimes as leader very strict, and that is because otherwise it's very difficult to control people. But sometimes you have to be soft. You can't control everybody. There are certain situations you have to release things, leave it alone. Don't look very strictly in things. Similarly, you have to be dismissive sometimes. You have to be appreciative sometimes because people come with all sorts of silly things. You can't take everything seriously. But when true appreciation is needed, you have to appreciate. Okay, one of your colleague has done a fantastic surgery, has produced a great paper, and so on. Leadership is celebrating all these successes along with those people. Only when you celebrate their success, it becomes your success. And of course, the other very important thing I learned is that you have to be disconnected many times. Many employees come and talk to you about different things and sort of all sorts of complaints. You have to get disconnected. In our three organizations together, we have about 9,000 employees. Just imagine if you are going to listen to 9,000 employees' problems, you can never do anything much. But sometimes there's a need for having empathy. Some problem occurs with an employee family, some tragedy in the life. You have to have empathy. So you see, leadership is many of these so-called oxymoron terms. You have to be opposite of different things at different times. The other very important thing about leadership we don't follow again is these three important words. Remember, thank you. We should always thank people who have helped you somewhere along the way during the thing. We don't thank people enough, I think. Even for small things, you start thanking people. The second important thing is if you make a mistake, some unnecessary shout at somebody, which is not right. I am sorry is very important word that you think. And the third most important, and this is of all the things the most important, what we follow institution is that you have to start asking people, what do you think? For every major decision we take, we actually have a small board or we get people together, or even on the corridor sometimes I tell people, okay, we're building this small lab here, what do you think? So what do you think is a very important word that leaders should keep on asking people. And you'll be surprised how many positive, negative replies you'll get, but you'll be surprised that the collective wisdom of all the people is much better than the so-called wisdom of a single leader. So this is a very important phrase. Then the sandwich technique, I've told this often that I've learned this from when I was leading the WO for 4 years. I actually got irritated at one instance and shouted at one of the employees there. And then the secretary of the World Health Organization, a very wise lady, called me aside and said, "This is not the technique to shout. There's a sandwich technique." And that's how I learned the sandwich technique. If you're angry with somebody, first call that somebody to your room. Don't do it in public. You can actually sort of scold for whatever you want to do. First praise the person and then scold the person a lot. And then ultimately you have to, again, as going off, say, okay, you're doing good work, but kindly continue to do the good work. Don't do the mistakes that you've done. So this sandwich technique is extremely useful when you're dealing with people. The other important part of leadership is communicating. I think communication is something that you have to be good at to be a good leader. A lot of time people are talking, but you're not listening. A lot of time you think you're hearing somebody, but you're not truly listening. So this communication skills, when we think of communication, we think there's, oh, somebody who's speaking very well, who's giving a good talk. That is not. Communication skills involves good listening. You have to listen carefully, understand what the person is saying. The greatest leaders in the world are the greatest listeners from all walks of life, politicians, builders of institutions, so on. So listening is very important. In fact, it's very well said that you can be a very good doctor with a talent, effort, and skill, but I think to be a good entrepreneur, what you require is communication skills. So all good entrepreneurs have good communication skills. You have to communicate with your staff, you have to communicate with industry, you have to communicate with finances, you have to communicate with individuals who are capable of donating something to you, so on. So communication is the key, and you can actually learn this through several classes. So this is first. The second one is team building. Now, team building is very important, and this is something, example I give. I was having dinner once with Mr. Narayan Murthy, and I asked him once, can you tell me in one sentence how you built such a great team in Infosys? He said, I don't require a sentence, I require one word, and that is team. I think this team is the ultimate success of any individual. Without that, he achieves certain things, and that's it. So, as Henry Ford very famously said, coming together is the beginning, keeping together is the progress, working together is success. And this success is achieved if you can create a big team and work together a team. All the 9,000 employees we have in our hospital, doctors, nurses, and so on, are working as a team. If they don't, then we can't create an institution like what you have done. So I think this is because if you look at all types of people working in an organization, there are three kinds: people who make things happen, people who watch things happen, and people who wonder what happened. Many of my classmates say, okay, how did you go through? How did you get all these things? So they're wondering what happened. They were watching what happened. But if you want to really build institutions, if you want to be a true entrepreneur who's successful, the real success comes to doers and not observers. Because this is a very famous idiom that the winner has a solution for every problem, a loser has a problem for every solution. And this we observe in our team meetings. If we ask some people, what do you think we should do? Some people come up with a good solution. Some people start saying, no, we can't do this because of this, because of this. So clearly you can differentiate those who are going to be successful versus those who are not going to be successful. So whenever you want to build institutions, you want to be a good entrepreneur, surround yourself with positive. If you don't surround yourself with positive people, you have negative people, then problems can occur in that sense. So this is again very important. If you have negative people in your organization, try to either eliminate them or turn them positive. This was an interesting meeting I was in recently where all the top industrialists from our area, Hyderabad area, were called to interact with a person called Ram Charan. Ram Charan is right here. He's one of the world's leading trainer for entrepreneurs. The 100 Fortune 500 companies, he has been a trainer for them, how to build entrepreneurs. In fact, he was a trainer for Bill Gates, he was a trainer for even Adani's, everybody is a trainer. So he came and he called all these top industries, and from the hospital industry, I went to represent. So he asked all of us, I'll ask you one question. Can you tell me how we'll recruit for your team? What are the criteria? So everybody kept starting. They were engineers, they were, I think, big bankers, and everybody started saying that they'll take a very bright person, they'll take the best person, and so on. So I started by saying, I don't take all these people, I'll take an average person. And everybody else was surprised. How can you build a good team with average? I said, what we require in medicine is not brilliant people, average people, but those with compassion, those with passion for their work, and a person who is a team person. So these three are very important criteria. So in medicine, you have to look for a team of people who have this compassion, passion, and team person. You should not look for brilliant people. That is a very important lesson. For another industry, for example, tech industry, maybe it requires certain brilliant people, but for medicine, this is totally different. Now, only then when you get a group of people like this, can you build institutions. And all my success to a large extent is because of the team we have. We could publish more than 1,200 papers, textbook chapters, and achieve all this just because of the brilliant team of the very compassionate, very passionate, very hardworking team we have. So when you're running a large hospital, people ask me, how much time can you spend any time with your patients and so on. I tell them that this is a formula. The formula that I follow is this: 70% clinical work, 20% research and academic work, and 10% administration. So again, people ask me, administration, how can you do this administration so less and still run such a large hospital? The secret again is to develop a team of administrators. We have again a brilliant team of administrators. They're seen here, the COA, the CFO, the CTO, then the most important vital person in this area is the purchase person, the GM, the general manager for purchase, because that is, I'll tell you why little later on. He becomes very important for the hospitals, because unless he's a person of integrity, you can't do. So if you have a team like this, which are actually extremely good, doing everything, you just have to spend 10 minutes and giving them directions of what they have to do, and things will be done. But you have to create high-level team like this. You should not go for compromise and take low-level people. And the other important thing is, this is a term which is not often used, introduce it to what is called the intrapreneurship. So in every large institution, there are a lot of things happening, financial things, building things, so many things are happening. And how you control and how you look after each of these things by segmenting them is called entrepreneurship. You can actually experiment here a little, put one person, see how he's doing. If he's not doing well, take another person. So this entrepreneurship is an ability or a habit that you should develop in each of your institutions so that you become a better entrepreneur. So now coming to the last aspect, managing money. Of course, I think some of it now you heard before, but those are mainly personal managing money. How do you manage the money for the institution? And this is what I'd like to start by saying, that you should never try to make institutions like hospitals or other healthcare areas just for money. If you want to make money for a business, the other areas which are more lucrative, real estate and all. But the hospital thing is like what Richard Branson very famously said. He didn't go into business to make money, but found that if you have fun, the money will come. So this is a very, very important message. If you're a doctor who has a passion for your work, if you start doing things which for a doctor should be very good, money will automatically come. It will run after you. Never try and chase money. Money should chase you. This is a very important principle that I found. Whenever you're building big institutions like what we have now, it's worth crores and crores. So you can't do it totally by yourself. If you have a very rich father-in-law, maybe you can, but otherwise you'll require to get money from somewhere. And banks give you certain amount of loans. I'll come to that. But large extent, we'll have to depend on private equity. Now, what is private equity? This is a term many doctors wouldn't know. Private equity is a group of doctors like bankers who invest in your hospital, take a certain percentage of your share of the hospital, 20%, 30%, 40%, depending on what you want. And what private equity does is that they will first of all not only give this money, it's interest free, so you don't have to think about how to pay back the bank. But second, it gives you a governance structure. All these private equity guys are brilliant in governance structures. They'll tell you how many times you must have a board meeting, what type of board meeting, what type of committees you should have in the hospital. The second thing that they do. The third important thing is they give a value to your hospital. Once private equity comes, they'll say your value for this hospital is, say, 1,000 crores or 500 crores or whatever it is. They give a valuation. Whereas if you're an independent practitioner running your hospital or institution, there's no value. It depends on whatever value you want to give, you can give, but for outside world, there's no value. So part of the entrepreneurship is not only wealth you make, wealth other people make, but a valuation that you have to get from outside. And the outside valuation is given by private equity. But there are certain general principles of private equity. You should never go more than 30%. If you give your private equity more than 30%, then they start controlling the business. Of course, if you have a large enterprise, if you own more than 26%, you can still control, but above 30%, they control. So this is very important. The second thing in private equity, there are good people, bad people, there are sort of different types of people. So you have to be sure that you go only with good people. The good people in private equity are very difficult. You have to identify them. Your whole future progress in your entrepreneurship depends upon the quality of people. So whenever you select private equity in a building institutions, and this for larger institutions, very, very carefully evaluate private equity guys, and only those who have good value systems, good integrity, those who value your ideas are very, very important. Most hospitals, big hospitals, corporate hospitals have failed because they got into equation with bad or very bad private equity guys. So that's the first thing. Of course, you're not economic people, you don't know how it is, so you don't realize how to select these people. So it's better to have an economic advisor. Of course, I've had one for confidential reasons, not revealing who he was, but a good economic, well-meaning advisor is very, very important because he will tell you which private equity to go with, whom not to go with, how to build your hospital. He can be a friend, he can be a brother-in-law, he can be a brother, he can be a cousin. Usually, very close family people are more safe to have because they are the ones who actually advise you in the right way with taking your interest. So this is very important. First of all, if you want to set up institutions, if you want to be an entrepreneur, my serious advice is very few doctors are good at economics, at selecting the right private equity and so on. You kindly get a good advisor. You just have to see who's close to you, who's your well-wisher. The second thing is to know a little about hospital finances. When I started the AGI, we got a good private equity guy. So he asked me, what's your EBITDA, what's your RPOP, what's your ALOS? I didn't even know these terms because these were terms which were new to me. As a doctor, as a practicing professor, my all concentration was endoscopy, what new procedures to do, what papers to write. And so you never knew this. So I actually learned it the painful way, and I don't want all of you to learn the painful way. I'll tell you at the end what is the easy way to learn all this. EBITDA, of course, is earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. This is the actual way how we evaluate it. For example, if you're making 10 crores EBITDA every year, your value is 10 into 25. That is, your value is 250 crores, value of your organization. So value of an organization is made on the basis of EBITDA into multiples of 20 to 25, depending upon where you are. So this is very important to learn. So whenever you say that I'm making so much money, calculate in form of EBITDA, earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. The second important thing is RPOP. RPOP is revenue per occupied bed. Now, revenue per occupied bed is, we all know that so much is revenue. There are many hospitals. For example, a hospital like Max has a revenue per occupied bed of 70,000 rupees a day. Apollo has 60,000. Medanta has 50,000. So all hospitals have different RPOP. But what determines RPOP is not the actual revenue you get, but depends on ALOS. ALOS means average length of stay. So average length of stay of hospital is very important. For example, in Western hospitals in US, the average lay of strength is 2 days, not more than that. Even major surgeries, they try fast. But in India, the average, when we started the old Somajigoda, the average length of stay of our hospital patients was about 7 days. So if the ALOS is high, RPOP is less, inversely proportional. Remember that ALOS is inverse. So now the average ALOS in many of the corporate hospitals like Medanta and all would be about 4 to 4.5 days. And we are now trying to get it down to below 4 days. So if your ALOS comes down, your RPOP increases. So whenever people tell me, how is the revenues and all, I'm not bothered about. I'm more bothered about ALOS. And we work on each department. Every month, our team looks at every department to see what is their ALOS, how much is the average length of stay of the patient in that particular department. If it's very large, we have to discuss why it's happening, because we know that RPOP is indirectly proportionate. Just remember that as soon as you cut down ALOS, you don't have to increase your hospital rates, you don't have, your RPOP immediately goes up. Now, the other important thing that you should learn when you're actually going into building institutions, first is the cost. On average, you must know, doctors, that to build a hospital in a place like, say, a metropolitan city, the cost will depend per bed. For example, average cost is 1 crore rupees per bed to build a nice institution. If you want to build a super luxurious thing, it's 1.5 to 2 crores per bed. So if you want to build a 100 crore hospital, a 100 beds hospital, will cost you 100 crores. This includes everything, your diagnostic and all. If you want to build a smaller center, it's 50 crores, 50 lakhs per bed in a small 2-tier city. In a 3-tier city, it may come to 30 lakhs. So 30 lakhs, 50 lakhs, or 1 crore per bed, depending upon which place you want to build. This is the average cost. Now, you want to build, so for example, 100-bed hospital, 100 crores. Do you have that money, or do you have to borrow? So how do you borrow now? In general, what banks would accept is that 30% should be yours, 33% should be yours, 67% they will pay. The bank will pay, will give you loan. But my advice is, don't go by this. If you take such high loans, then what happens? Repayment problems come. So, in general, your bank loan should be about not more than 50% of what you put in. So, if you're starting a 100 crore center, be sure that you or your friends or whoever is investing puts 50 crores, and 50 crores or less. The less you take from bank loan, it's better. Later on, once your institution builds to a certain level, equity people will come. You don't require bank loans, they'll put in the money. Again, very careful to select what type of equity people you have. Now, repayment should be, when you ask for repayment, you should ask people for a 2 years mod, that is 2 years repayment free period. So when you start the hospital, you don't pay money. So wait for 2 years. Only after 2 years, you start asking for repayment. And the repayment usually should be scheduled for 10 years. 10 years you should be there. And the repayment should be at only less than the 10% of your turnover. So if you're turning over so much money, only 10% should go for repayment or interest and so on. If you take more than that, then it'll be very difficult to run. So this is regarding the repayment. Now, there's another thing called receivables. When you start hospital, all the patients don't pay you money. There are some patients who have credits and some patients who go to, who are some organizations, they'll say, okay, you look after, we'll pay you later. This is ONGC and so on. Again, in general, receivables should not be more than 50%. 50% should be a cash patients, 50% should be what you get from different organizations' receivables. And at a time, you should not have receivables more than your EBITDA. That's very important. And the last thing is salary. Now, salary, it is again very important that when you start an institution, of your total turnover, your salary for doctors should be 30%, the employees together should be 30% less. Say, if your total turnover is 10 crores, only 3 crores should be the salary of doctors or employees. Out of this 30%, 17% or less should be for doctors, 13% or less for employees. But many institutions I've seen have failed because their salary pattern is so bad that 50% goes to doctors, and then you can't build institutions. The second important thing, the salary component when you're running the institution, is that 22% of whatever you do goes for consumables, 15% goes for overhead. So therefore, 67% of your running cost goes for all this, so that about 30% above is saved as EBITDA. So calculate it in that way so that, then you're very safe of what you're doing. Because most people think our hospital is full, we are making a lot of money. No, hospital does not make money. Hospital, if you look at it, even if your hospital is full, from the operations, rooms, surgeries, patients giving you the consultations and so on, it's only 10% of your total money what you make. Operations make only very less. The two things that make money for hospital are diagnostics, which makes 60%, and pharma, which makes 50%. Now, these people don't realize at all. They put very strict controls with the operations, all the things. You forget about it. Operations can be very loose because you don't gain or lose so much money. Where you must tighten your belt, keep very reliable people of integrity is in a diagnostic area. A lot of you consume a lot of, say, reagents and so on. If you do it properly, if you have a person of integrity there, then you have high margins. Similarly, pharma. It's 50% from whatever you get in MRP, you are allowed to charge certain amount. The margins are used. Again, you have to be very careful. Persons of integrity, don't go for this cheap pharma, go for standard drugs. And then again, you'll find that. So your total majority of the income comes from diagnostics and pharma in institution. And therefore, all well-run institutions have people who are very trusted at this angle. Operations doesn't matter at all. And finally, we come to certain important principles of entrepreneurship. I hope I'm not taking too much time, just another 5-10 minutes. It is the attitude that makes a difference in whether some entrepreneur is successful or not. The first important thing is humility. Whatever you achieve in life, you may be the greatest guy, you may be, I've seen so many Nobel Prize winners or so much of people who achieved so much in life in all walks. Humility is very, very important. Once you lose humility, you become very arrogant, then that starts a down. The second is positivity. I already talked about positivity to you. And third is networking. These three things are extremely important to be a successful entrepreneur. This is again very important. There was a very interesting work which was done by Adam Grant and published in a book, which looked at what separates achievers. The entrepreneurs who became successful was non-achievers. He in fact went back to the schools of these very successful entrepreneurs, and when they were in 9th class, 8th class, and scientists tried to see if there's some characteristic features at that point of time which made this person so successful. And three important things he found. Those who are very disciplined at that school, 8th class, 9th class, coming in time, doing work, those who had determination even then that you want to achieve, and he had an attitude. Attitude here meaning networking, social networking, getting along well with people. So these are the three characteristics that made people a successful entrepreneur later on in life. So even in school, based upon the characteristics of a person, you can actually predict who will be successful or not. There's this rule of 10, I think, a very interesting book, because if you look at the types of people, there are those who are average people, that is the average life, average goals, average outcomes. Unfortunately, most doctors come into this. They go into practice, join a job, get a fairly good salary, wife also is working, average family, average, everything is average. There are others who are actually detractors who don't want to take any risk and get negative life. But the most important thing are massive action takers. Those who dream big, who struggle to achieve the goals, and those who have an idea of how to. This is the category I want all of you to fall into to be successful entrepreneurs. Do it, because when you have ideas, ambitions, and all, you have to do one is a realistic ambition. You can't go from being just a practitioner to building a huge enterprise. You cannot. It has to be stepwise. We started with small practice, build an outpatient center, build a 10-bedded center, build a 200-bedded center, then 1,000, then nearing 2,000 now. So it went in steps. The second important thing is take responsible risks. Don't suddenly take 70% loan and think you can build something. I've seen many people collapse, not only in health industry, but you have to take responsible risk because you're responsible for your family. Tomorrow, you can take the risk, but your family should not be on streets. Take responsible risk. You have to take risks, but this risk should not make you thrown into the streets because of the risk. So responsible risk is very important. And finally, failure is never final. Whenever all of us fail in life many times, but whenever we fail, there's another pathway to success. It's like the toll gate is closed by the surrounding roads and finally reach the toll gate. So failure is never final. And the other important thing, all of us have different performance levels in schools, in colleges, and so on. And you'll find one of your colleagues who was average in college. At a middle college, he was my classmate. The average fellow has become so successful now. How did it happen? Again, answered by this very important books, Troublesome Inheritance and Adam's book, I'll quote together. So what they found is this, that you can be average, continue to be average. You can be very good at college. We know many people, I think TSC will remember many very good people in PGI, but they didn't succeed at all for some reason. Similarly, you can be below average, like maybe some of us, like me, for example, but you can achieve things in life. Now, what determines how different each of us is determined by this attitude, usually 5 years after you've finished your. So in the 5 years after you finished your education, the attitude you have, I told you about the three components of the attitude. The attitude you have which determines how you succeed or not in life. So that is very important. So success is not an accident. It's the result of attitude. If you think you can, you can. If you think you cannot, you cannot. You can. And finally, you are way, but what pathway you assume will depend upon the attitude. So there is again this very important book I'd recommend for you to read, Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow. In medicine, we are actually made to think fast, make a diagnosis, treat the patient and so on. But as an entrepreneur, you have to think slow and rationally. Take out, analyze the system, see where are your strengths, see where are your uh, mistakes that you can make, who can take to help, what are the economic advantages, all these things. So we have to think both as a doctor and as an entrepreneur, have both types of thinking with us. The other important thing is some people tell me, how can you be good and do well in business? There's nothing to do with that. You can be a good human being and also be very shrewd in business. These are two examples. Ratan Tata and Bill Gates, very good human beings, but very successful in business. So remember that, because being good is also a good business, because then you can attract a lot of good people around you, and good people, you get good businesses. This is very important. The other important thing is, whatever you do, I think you have now decide, think about it. Are you going to be an entrepreneur, or you want to have a good life with an average type of life? What you're doing, you're happy, then you do that. So kindly sit down, think about yourself. What are you? Are you a material for entrepreneur? You take risks, you keep jumping, you change your so you require certain drive for that. Or are you enjoy being just doing the regular work? Because only when you enjoy doing something, you will be successful. Kindly enjoy what you're doing and don't think that you do. Of course, the other important thing, Rajat Gupta was once with us, a very famous guy in McKinsey's. I asked him, how do you rise to the top? He said, whenever you reach a comfort zone, you take the bar higher and try and get over it. This is a very important message for all of us. I started practice. I was in a comfort zone. I was making a lot of money. Should I have stopped with this? No, I thought, okay, let me build institutions. Then I went to institutions. Then said, let us build multiple institutions. Let me get into research a little more so that I can start publishing and feel happy about it. So it's how you set your bar. You can set your bar wherever you want. If you want to set your bar low, you are happy with that, be that. If you want to set your bar higher to achieve higher things, but remember, it's your personality type. Decide what you want to do. But other very important message I want to send is that you must be friends with your colleagues, with your group of people to have success. If you're going on constantly having friction with people, can't settle down, then you won't. So this is me and GV Rao. For many years we've been together. You can see it continues, and this is with other people too. Because what we have created over these last few years, this is the lessons, as I said, is retrospective. I didn't think I'll be an entrepreneur. I didn't plan for that. I just followed a few basic principles of being a good person, setting my bar higher, getting good group of people, team around, and rest of the things just followed. But analyzing back what I did, I gave you a few tips on that. Because what happens is we created a huge valuation for not only for us, but for people around. We created institutions which are very patient-centric, very academic. And not only do we benefit, people around you benefit, but the whole society benefits. Every time you create institutions, Kaveri, for example, the maternity center the doctor has created, now it's oncology center. So people benefit, society benefits. That's very important to realize. We, of course, now setting the bar a little more higher. This is our hospital from the top. You see, we have building a huge center of emergency and cardiology. We're getting a proton therapy and so on. So every time, again, setting a new bar. We reach the bar, setting a new bar again. But to a large extent, I must tell you this, that luck has played a big role. For all of you also, luck will play a big role. I don't want to go into the story of this, but luck played a big role for me to start from a small practice into something big like this. So great things can be done by impulses, but series of small things coming together. This is very important. Remember, this is a very, very good book. I recommend all of you to read. It's called The Fluke. It tells you how fluke can come into life of most people. You have to recognize this when you get this luck, chance, or opportunity, whatever it is. React, reject, reactive, or grab. And the final results is what happens to how you utilize this fluke movement, how you utilize this luck or chance which came to you. I had many in my life. Again, no time to go into it, but I had, when we grabbed this, we found. But always very important for youngsters, make goals, and SMART is the way to make goals. The goal should be specific, it should be measurable, it should be achievable, it should be realistic, it should be time bound. Just think that what you're going to do now, next thing, how many years you're going to. My goal is that every 3 years I start thinking I change. I increase the goalpost every 3 years. For different people, it's different, but think about it, make it time bound. So the formula to build responsible institutions, at least in healthcare, the experience that I have is luck plays a long role, hard work, smart work, getting a good team and communicating well with them. If you want to know some of these tricks, some of the things that we learned in our process, we run this program every 6 months with ISB. It's called the Next Gen Healthcare Program, where we teach people to become leaders, to be entrepreneurs, to how they can, and all these practical tips I told you just in half an hour. We actually have longer sessions where we teach them in a very detailed fashion how to generate money to build institutions and how to build teams and so on. This is just to give you an overview. So finally, I think what all I've done is to a large extent because of the team that we could create. We have really outstanding people, very passionate, compassionate with us, and this is the reason why AIG has come to what it is now. So thank you very much, TSC, for giving this opportunity to express some of my views on this area. I know it was very short, but I could try and compress whatever we could in this short time.
I think I welcome Dr. Randir also. Randir, your comment before I make a comment.
No, Nagi, I think it was one of your most wonderful talks I have ever heard. I heard you speak on so many GI talks, but I think you excel today, and that tells us why you are so successful. Because from a novice in business, you just had courage and some moments of serendipity. You had the conviction that you can do it, and then you could achieve all this. And you could objectively tell us, the way forward and how to do it ourselves. So I think it was a wonderful talk. And over to you, TSC.
Randir, thank you for coming, and despite your busy schedule. Nagi, one point I will not agree with you. You showed a graph that very good people, they did not do well. Average people continue to do that. And third one, you said average people like you said me. And that I did not.
No, I was
You
very
were
average.
right from beginning. You were a school topper, college topper.
No, but
you
in
have been
PGI, TSC, PGI had all the toppers together, and I would consider myself average in that group. I was not
again. It
like
shows
there
your
were people like
humility.
Patrick or somebody you can say, okay, this chap is really above average, but I was much below. So that extent, I think to some extent, it depends on a lot of other factors also. Why I'm trying to emphasize is that you need not be outstanding, brilliant to do really well in life. People like me also were not that when you're actually in the college. Good, yeah.
I think the other comment you made is very good, that every year, every 3 years, you don't want to be in the comfort zone, and you want to raise your bar. That is another important thing. Third thing is, what you enjoy the work is more important. If you are enjoying the work, you don't have to worry about the idea you want to become an entrepreneur. It is a kind of little sacrifice. You have to dedicate yourself, and it's not that easy. Not everyone is meant for it. I think other important thing is the health is the key. And the health is the important deciding factor for many of us, and we have to do that. I think with this, I think we should give a big round of applause to
Wonderful.
Nagi. Maybe Nagi, I listened to you same type of talk like that, but because of this international webinar, you gave a very special attention, I think. So it was one of the best. I think we'll start with the Dr. Geeta Haripriya.
Yeah, so
Ma'am, you
Geeta is
listen to
also
the-
running a very successful
very
institution,
successful.
and I think
Very
Carol knows her
successful.
very well. Yeah.
I think Nagi, the only person who can compete with the hard work, I can tell you, Dr. Geeta Haripriya. And I think there is some special traits in her also. And ever smiling, never get tired, and 24 hours a day. And she is around the clock. Madam Geeta Haripriya, what is your success mantra? How did you, can you just tell us? And not Geeta?
So
Yeah.
basically, basically, I started the whole thing because of my own long history of infertility and having had 4 IVFs. So that's how it all started. And then at that time, the facilities were not available here. So I had to go outside. I had to go to UK and then get my treatment done. So when I had the baby, then I thought, okay, we should do something to create similar facilities here because everybody may not be able to travel outside. So that's the way it all started. And then when I came back, I trained a group of doctors. But most important, the core person here is the embryologist. So there were very, very, very few embryologists at that time. So I actually tied up with Sydney IVF. And for 18 years, they were coming every month. And that's how we had our good success rates. So this is the way we started.
Basically, the empathy really triggered you or inspired you. Okay, you don't want your patient to suffer because you had already undergone the 4 times and you have to go to Singapore and this facility wasn't available. So that is a very great thing. And what Nagi finally said, you work hard and create an institution. The beneficiary is the community, the humanity. I think you people are doing a great work with this. I think we'll come back to you, Dr. Geeta Haripriya, your comment on Nagi's talk and the first talk and finance briefly.
Dr. Nagi's talk was absolutely brilliant. He covered all aspects. And because we are also going into private equity now, I listened to every word of it so that, I could also take a few hints. And the other talk was also very excellent. And but this was very applicable to me. So I just put all my attention into it and got a few good points out.
Relate yourself well with it.
Yeah.
Dr. Nirmal, you are in a small setup and trying to be. So how much traits you have now as an entrepreneur? What is your comment and question?
Sir, I think first I'll talk about the presentation, Nagi sir. So we have been so strong followers of Dr. Nageshwar Reddy. He's being a role model to so many in the country. And today's talk was simply exceptional. So I think whatever is told, each and every word was worth listening to. Being an entrepreneur, I think it needs a different mindset altogether. Nagi sir very beautifully alluded that most of us in India harbor that middle class mentality, that risk taking behavior is much less. But for a good entrepreneur, that risk taking behavior has to be reasonable, but one should be able to take it at the right point of time, which is very important. In Ludhiana, what we've done is, again, a very small group of good people, 4 gastroenterologists and 2 GI surgeons. And I think we aim big, but it is just the beginning, which we made 5 years back. And let's see how far we can go together. But I think the inputs from Nagi sir and Dr. Raghuraj have been extremely beneficial.
We'll again to go back to Dr. Randir. What is your input? You are in a very big corporate. Okay.
You see,
Dr. Manivandan also joining. Okay.
Yeah, TSC, I think there are 2 different sets of people. One are very successful doctors, but they do not have either the mental aptitude or the the risk taking capability of becoming entrepreneurs, or they do not have the opportunity to do that, and they live in the comfort zone of like I am in a comfort zone because I'm working in a corporate hospital, earning good amount of money. I raise a different bar than Nagi. I go to a bar rather than raise it. So, so I don't think that all people can be entrepreneurs because this requires a different mindset and a courage and dedication to do it. Because every time I toyed with this idea, I always used to think that who will deal with the class 4 people and who will deal with the MCD and who will deal with the government regulatory authorities, and this is too much of a headache. But then if people who are capable of doing that and know how to organize, and it is doable. It's not that it's not doable, but as I told you, it requires a mindset, and sometimes your own comfort zone becomes a trap, and you do not get out of that.
I think well said, Randir. Not everyone should become an entrepreneur. And there is a good saying that you should not become a slave to your ambition. And that is very important. So you will take it You work hard, the time is allotted,
Yeah.
and you want to relax.
I think
Now we have
TSC,
another very
TSC,
yes, Nagi.
I think Randhir said is absolutely true. So what I would suggest to everybody, just sit back, relax, think about it, whether you are an entrepreneur material or you want a different life, what Randhir said, that you're happy in your comfort zone. So this is very important, because if you go into a wrong zone, then you become very unhappy. So we should not unnecessarily go into an entrepreneur zone if you don't have those, like for example, the life work balance. You have to have an equation with your family that, okay, I'm doing this. Can you tolerate my not being spending time with you? So only if they can. But if you're going to have constant conflict with your family and trying to build things, your life is destroyed. So you have to sit down and make the goal very carefully. You have that mentality? Do you have the capacity? Do you have a family support to do all this? Otherwise, the whole thing doesn't come through.
I think that nicely put it. Not everyone need to become an
Yes,
entrepreneur.
yes, yeah.
You can always join hands with those who have done it. So we also enjoy Nagi's visiting his academic session, and he takes care of us very well. As much as the people are asking me, you are also a part of it also. I said I'm part of it as the academic partner. We have another very good entrepreneur who really dedicated himself. And whenever I think of two things, medical and the purchase, here is a man, Dr. Manivannan, who has created the chain of hospitals in Chennai, Trichy, and rest of the Tamil Nadu. I think
Hi,
we are
sir.
very busy, though we could catch hold of. What motivated to go for medical?
Um,
It's a unique
sir,
thing you brought it,
yeah,
and I will tell you what is. He was going to tell us what is medical. Okay.
yeah. Fine, sir. So basically, I'm an anesthetist and critical care physician, first generation doctor and entrepreneur from a small town, Trichy, 300 kilometers south of Chennai. And so we started the hospital, a group of friends and family. We have 4 doctors in the family, and a group of friends started the hospital with 30 beds because 30 beds is what we had money for. And the primary idea was people from my town shouldn't go to Chennai or other places for tertiary care. We just started, and it was just jumping into the sea and learning swimming, actually. Okay. It was so difficult. We learned everything after starting the practice. And of course, as clinicians, I mean, as doctors, we were all taught about how to manage patients and so many other things. For 5.5 years in medicine and another 3 years of postgraduate program, we have been taught how to manage complex cases, but not even single lecture on how to manage hospitals. But fortunately or unfortunately, most of the Indian doctors become entrepreneurs. They either start a small clinic or be part of a big hospital. They start hospitals depending upon their economic situations. Um, so I started this exhibition accidentally. I was a secretary for anesthesia society in my town, and I did a very good state conference where exhibitors were very happy. And they said, "Why don't you organize this conference every year?" I said, "I can't organize this conference every year." I just left it, and I visited an international conference, an exhibition, and I found out to be very useful. So very casually, I just started with around 60 to 70 exhibitors. That was way back in 2005, 20 years back exactly in Chennai. And I found out that the demand was so high. So the theme of the exhibition was everything they failed to teach you at medical college, actually. So we had seminars where we don't talk about any clinical topics. It's purely management topics. Let it be purchase, HR, branding, marketing, IT, digital, finance, or data security. So many things. So everything they fail to teach you at medical college, because after you become an entrepreneur, your medicine practice is only 25%, 30%. Remaining is all managing your people, patients, or satisfaction, whatever it is. So then, after the first exhibition, I went to Germany and Dubai to see the other our international exhibition. I found out that there's a huge market there, actually. And then I expanded it. Today we have 5 shows in Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, Hyderabad, and Chennai, 5 metros, close to 1.25 lakh hospital owners, primarily doctor entrepreneurs visit the show. And it's really gratifying to see that many doctors have become entrepreneurs, or entrepreneur doctors have built their hospitals from ordinary clinics or small hospitals to big hospital chains after listening to so many talks and seeing all the exhibitors. So that's the motivation. As a small first generation entrepreneur, first generation doctor entrepreneur from a small town, born to a government employee with a teacher. My mother was a
So
teacher, my father was a
really,
government. Yeah.
yeah, it's a very laudable that. Actually, I happened to be in Hanover. I saw the trade exhibition a long
Okay.
back. So I
Okay.
wanted to, when I came down to Coimbatore and practice in Coimbatore, I want to set up a trade exhibition like that. But did not. I was too into various kind of academic activities. Then I realized that I saw your exhibition. There's a man who, fulfill my wish, and congratulations to you.
Thank you,
And you
sir.
are doing extremely well. And Dr. Raghuram, there is a question. A doctor has got, after 10 years of practice, he has got 25 lakhs he can spare. So what is your best investment? And he doesn't want to lose that 25 lakh hard earned money, but he want to invest. I think everyone will be interested. Everyone will be having 25 lakhs here, no? And Raghu must be having, Madam will be no more than that. Anyhow, what is your investment? How will you go about it?
Okay. So basically, that depends on what is the age of the person and
He is 44. He's sitting in front of me. Okay.
okay. Then sir, it depends. Generally, what we say that when you want to invest, ideally it should be in SIP mode rather than having a one go.
What
Because
is SIP and all? Can you see? Doctors are so poor.
systemic,
We know SOP only, standard of operations and other thing. Okay. What is
okay,
SIP?
SIP means systemic investment plan.
Okay,
It,
right.
it means that whatever per month we will be saving
Ah,
some amount per month and we will invest it in an instrument that will be called as SIP. When we say that SIP, mutual fund industry has done well to coin this term and make it popular. But we can say that even we can do SIP in gold, or real estate is a thing which requires large ticket size. So there it will be a little bit difficult. But for equity and gold, that is a good thing. We can go for it. Even for debt also, we can go for it.
okay. So you will invest, ask us not in the gold or anything like that.
Yes,
So this
generally
free.
it should be a mix of.
Now the way the gold rate is going up so high, so you will not recommend gold.
So we can go for it, but it should not be a one go investment in a single
Then,
asset.
So
It should
put
be
your the thing in not in one basket. So you want to do that.
yes, yes. It should
So,
be diversified.
ma'am, what is the most? I mean, you feel that it's a bad decision I made in my life. So that we will also, I mean, good decision many you made. What is the bad decision you have made? You, Mani, Randir, and Dr. Nagi. Nagi has never made any bad. Let's say at least for theoretical purpose, we can answer that. Okay. So what, including Nirmal, what is the bad decision? We'll start from ma'am.
bad decision.
Please don't tell me coming to this webinar.
Okay.
Anything other than that. Okay.
Okay. Bad decision is sometimes when we start little peripheral clinics, no? If you, I've not done my field survey properly and it doesn't run well. A couple of them have crashed like that. So that was a bad decision. So after that, I've been very, very careful in doing a proper market survey and then starting my other centers.
Oh, just like starting the peripheral clinic, you do not have time to go there, and your people could not achieve what the goal what you wanted. That's the one.
Yes,
No?
that's
So
all.
now
It's,
the
I mean,
solution is
my
you
target
want
was
to
not,
do a good, yeah, you want
but
to do a good survey. Now, Manivandan, what is your bad decision? And I'm going
Bad.
to ask the question you would not have expected now on a 20
No,
minutes.
nothing, sir. Nothing. Of course, obviously,
Okay.
we make a lot of mistakes in the as an entrepreneurship journey. Say one, I mean, there are two bad decisions which I made. I started one more company around 15 years back, where I wanted to do a group purchase organization. Before that, I wanted to do a biomedical service. I found that all the entrepreneurs are struggling with biomedical equipment service. I started a company which was going to service the biomedical equipments of the smaller hospitals. I started with, I charged them 7,000 rupees every month. But I invested close to 1.5 to 2 crores over a period of 1 year, and find out that not people were most of the people were not interested, and ultimately I had to close the company. The
Okay.
second bad decision was, say, I started an IT company. Actually, basically, I'm very passionate about IT. My entire our Kaveri group runs in my IT systems. So I thought that since it was very successful at Kaveri, it will be useful for other entrepreneurs. And then I offered it to many people, but I burned a lot of cash, and then slowly wound off that company.
Okay,
I,
two bad decisions now.
yes, sir.
One
Yes,
is
sir.
that thing. Okay, now
Mhm.
hereafter one sentence answer, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Raguraj,
Yes,
what is your bad decision? Okay, while you are thinking, we'll ask Randir, what is your bad decision? Having a friend like you, don't tell me that. Okay, you are muted.
That is only one of it. But
Okay.
no, I think the one bad decision I made was that I was not courageous enough to weed out the negative people in the team. That leads to pollution of the entire pond, and that I think that goes a long way in then corrective actions have to be taken.
So in gastroenterologist term, it's a dysbiosis.
Yeah.
So you need to have the probiotic for that.
Yeah.
Have all good people. So you don't want dysbiosis. Sometimes diarrheal episodes will be there, oral diarrhea or verbal whatever.
No,
Yeah,
but
that's very good point. Actually, if a negative person is there, then better to either remove him or do something, make him positive or add some probiotic so that he will not be
But
there.
TSC, the
Okay.
doctors are not necessarily the most courageous people in doing that. They try to be very
Actually, you should be there is saying that you should learn to say no to.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. Many people are very hesitant to say
Yeah.
no to that. Arvind, what is your bad decision you have made?
Well, this starting one laundry, because I invested for a healthcare laundry, which nobody in India had done so. I brought the entire technology from UK and we approached the government of Karnataka. The government gave us a land of 3 acres in the industrial area. Well, 3 doctors with 2 other non-medicals, we 5 of us invested for around 17 crores. The only bad decision what we made, practical, what Dr. Nagi said was taking the loan of 75% from the bank and we investing only 25%.
So taking a massive loan from the bank more than 70% is a bad decision.
Second, Dr. KC, very important is, I tell you, when we should have an extension.
We want to know only one bad decision.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, carry on. Just in the lighter sense, I said. Arvind, what is the other bad decision?
Well, the repayment schedule, which we took very short from 6 months.
So, I think repayment schedule, you told that first to 2 years, don't pay anyone.
Yes. I mean, we have
And
a very big lesson. Now, I mean, I've been investing in many small companies. I'm an angel investor right now. So I know, I mean, I'm extremely refined, very sharpened. I mean, failures have taught me many things in life that I've been very strong now. Very
now
strong.
you must be very good. You are using all technical angel investors and the repayment schedule, heavy load. I think you are fitting into slowly there. Nirmal, what is your bad decision?
Sir, for me, any decision which has gone bad but give you a good learning and a good teaching ultimately turns out to be a good decision. So nothing much to disclose at this point.
You have a no disclosure, this one. Okay, Raghu,
Yes.
you are back. Then we'll ask Nagi. Nagi, he has to think a lot to say one negative decision. Okay.
Not joining with my room partner in his hospital.
Joining a room partner for the hospital is a bad decision.
He's also pediatrician.
He's around here? No.
No.
Okay, okay, because I should not be penalized. Okay, Nagi, your bad decision.
Yeah, so quickly, two bad decisions. The first one was I came back to Hyderabad from PGI with 35,000 rupees bank account. That time, good amount, 1984. So one of the first few patients I saw in practice, politician, told me he's going for election. So can I loan him money? So 30,000 rupees check I gave him. Only 5,000 left in the bank. After that, I never saw him, nor did I get my 30,000 back.
Very difficult to convince you for 30,000.
No, at that time I was very naive. So the moral of the story was never lend money to your patient, because money won't come back. You won't see the patient also. You lose the 150. And second is never lend money to a politician. The second mistake that we made, that's more recent, was that when you're building our hospital, around that lot of land was there. So we, of course, didn't think about it, but a builder told me afterwards, whenever you're building a big institution, the most important thing is to buy up all the lands around that area. Because when you're building this hospital, 1 acre of land around this area was 5 crores. Today, 1 acre of land is 100 crores. So you see, now we can't buy to expand our hospital more. So whenever you're building a big institution or big centers, around that area, you buy off all that land, because the value of the land will go so much that itself will give back the value. So that's another second important.
Very good. I think I'm first time somebody has asked Nagi what is the bad decision he has made, and he has really opened his mind. And first, the politician, I really wonder. I must salute him also. Anyhow, now we have ultra short answers. We'll start with the ma'am, then Arvind. What is the best decision you have made? Nothing, I mean, not about marriage or this and other thing. When professionally, what is the best decision you have made?
First is to specialize in fertility, and the second is to build a hospital with fertility, maternity, childcare. So that was at that time people didn't really appreciate that, because they thought, okay, people won't refer patients when you're going to do the deliveries.
So you are the first comer,
Yeah.
and use the focused area of this one.
Yeah.
Arvind, what is your best decision you have made?
Investing small in multiple companies with a defined exit period.
Fantastic. You seems to be very good. Next time I will invite you also. One of that's a good thing I have. Money, what is the best decision you have made?
So to focus on technology and invest in technology in my entire business life cycle.
I thought you will tell me that meeting me in the medical.
That's not a best decision, sir. That's a best accident ever happened.
Accident happened. Randir, what is the best decision you have made?
Yeah, I tell you truthfully, taking up gastroenterology at the time when it was not a favored subject. And that time we were under pressure not to take it up by chief of cardiology, chief of neurology, that why are you taking up gastroenterology? I think that was the best decision I made, and I have never repented.
Okay, best decision, Raghu?
Joining WealthCon, because
Okay, and best decision, Nirmal?
So building up a good team of gastroenterology, people who are
Okay.
dependable, disciplined, and we can go a long distance
Okay, right.
together.
But team building. Nagi, your best decision?
So mine was like Randir said, gastro, but specifically endoscopy. Very early in life, I started focusing on
So
therapeutic
again, the
endoscopy.
first comer is the key.
Yeah.
Madam started first comer, and Nagi, Randir, and me, we at least focused our area, hepatobiliary, pancreas, and therapeutic endoscopy. Now the last question. What is the famous quote really inspires you every day? Well, my God, that is a quote I really love to hear. We'll start with Nirmal.
2 quotes, sir. First is,
Oh, you have come prepared, huh? Normally, somebody says 2 quotes. Okay.
First is, your attitude and aptitude decides your altitude.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Everybody likes that.
Second is, if you want to walk fast, walk alone. If you want to walk far, walk together. This is again from Henry Ford. So you want to walk fast, walk alone. If you want to walk far distance, walk together. So their teamwork comes very important.
FOR and FAR. Okay.
Yes.
Madam, what's your famous quote? Okay, that really drives me. And I'm fresh as usual, the morning or night, every time I see. What is that quote is?
Not able to catch. I'm not able to tell.
Okay, I'll come back to you, ma'am. Arvind,
excuse me, sir. I've just got a flight to catch. Will you excuse me?
Okay, ma'am. And I think we'll give a big round of applause and for the wonderful thing you did. And I really like the when first comer is the best thing that happened. And the empathy you said, I don't want anybody to suffer like me. So I created an institute for the infertility. I focused it. That is a success. I really liked it. Thank you very much from on
Thank you
behalf
so
of
much, sir. Thanks
American
for the
College of
opportunity.
Gastroenterology. Thank you once again.
Thank you,
And
sir, for the
Arvind,
opportunity.
you are okay, ma'am. Arvind, your quote.
Yeah, this quote is purely mine, sir. It's a trademark, protected. The best way to overcome temptation is to succumb to it.
Ah, okay. This is not to do with the thing. Now, suppose you want to invest on some mutual fund, you succumb and no, that's okay. Money, your quote.
Sir, my quote is good is the enemy for great, actually. Because I've read a very amazing book 20 years back, Good to Great. So it very clearly states that if you're very happy being good, you will not work towards greatness. So I'm always fond of excellence. So I always keep telling that good is the enemy for great.
Okay, very good. Raghu, what's your quote?
I think it is of Warren Buffett that your money should work when you sleep. Otherwise, you will have to work throughout life.
I appreciate you have always you think about apart from pediatrics the money. So we started our thing. You can sleep, but your money should not sleep. That's a very good quotation. Now we'll come to Nagi. What is the best quote?
So mine is what Charles Darwin, very famously said, it's not the strongest of the species or the most intelligent of the species that survives. That is the one which is most adaptable to change that survives. So I think once you're adaptable to change, you survive.
I'm a little disappointed. I thought you will say that the good thing is should have a friend like TSC, then things go well. Okay, last final icing on the cake.
Sir,
Who
can I?
is what's that?
I just wanted to ask one question to Dr. Nagi, sir. Nagi, sir,
Yeah,
I want to know what factors determine the sustainability in your business, sir.
Hey, business, you mean?
Business?
No. You mean it's
No,
medical
no, I think the most important
healthcare
thing is
service. Healthcare
no, yeah.
service.
How do you
No,
see
I
that?
don't look at it as a business. I think enjoy what you're doing. My enjoyment was doing therapeutic endoscopy and later on into getting a little into research, publications, and later on into interacting with people and talking to them. So in these different stages, different things that sustain. So I think sustainability of your practice, you mean, is again some extent how good you are with your patients, with your surroundings and so on.
Okay, that's very good answer. And last to wind up here, one word answer. Who is your hero? Ranjit?
You.
Apart from me. Apart from me.
After that, you can go to bed and sleep nicely. Otherwise, you'll say no.
Okay, who is your hero? Apart from me.
No, I consider Nagi as my hero because he has done things which I would have loved to do and
Okay.
couldn't do.
I'm glad that I'm also included. Very good. Nirmal, who is your hero?
So my three heroes are already sitting in front of me, Dr. Nageshwar Reddy, TSC sir, and Dr. Randhir Sood, all three of them.
Okay, I think that our day is done now. Mani, who is your hero?
Sir, unfortunately, I'm yet to find one because at least I'm happy that all the gastroenterologists found good heroes like Nagiredi sir and other people. But for an anesthetist and critical care physician or as an first generation entrepreneurs, I'm yet to find one. Probably I've not
Okay, we
searched
will
for one.
try for that. Don't worry about it.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Arvind, who is your hero?
It's myself. I look every day in the mirror and say to myself that you are, sir, Dr. Arvind Gubi, you be better than what you are. Yes.
So that is inspiring. That's it looks like a quote, but not the
I get inspired.
Very good. I think the quote is that you must like your first. You must like you first. Then there's no point in condemning. I'm not like this. I'm this much not good. This all this. I think I like your positivity. Nagi, you said always surround yourself with the positive people. So you are welcome to our due conference because I want positive people like you. And Nagi, who is your hero?
So my hero actually was my dad because he was a person with severe middle class, but yet managed to push me to have this entrepreneurial mentality. So he was a pathologist who was actually very, very middle class, but I think he taught me how one should go up.
So I think, ladies and gentlemen, and who are all watching from all over the world, and I'm very thankful to all the both speakers who said, Raghu said that third child and how to bad loans and good learn and what not to do be done and what to do that if you have 25 lakhs, and ably moderated by Nirmal. And the second speaker, as usual, the A speaker who told so many good things, Aman. But finally he said, there is a saying there, just look at somebody and do it and don't get burnt. So whether you have the attitude of to be an entrepreneur, it's a big challenge, a big game. It is not that easy, but you enjoy what you want to do, you do it. I'm enjoying, so I may become an entrepreneur. I have the material. So Nagi, fantastic message you have given. And Randir, thanks for selecting two heroes in your life and absolutely moderating moderating very well, and Nirmal taking three heroes in your life. So thank you very much. I'll convey your greetings and regards to ACG for this nice webinar. We have done it. Thank you very much.